A grass rustles. Nothing should be there. And yet your heart is already pounding before your mind even understands why. For most of human history, that single second of doubt was the difference between living and becoming someone else's dinner. Your ancestors didn't have time to think. They had time to react. And somewhere inside you, that same reflex is still running, still scanning, still waiting for the next rustle in the grass. But here's the strange part. You are not in a forest. You are probably sitting down, somewhere warm, somewhere safe, maybe even somewhere comfortable. And yet your palms are sweating. Your jaw is tight. Your chest feels just a little too full of air. Not because a predator is near, but because a notification just appeared on your screen. The detail almost no one notices is that your body cannot tell the difference between a lion and a late-night email from your boss. To understand how this happened, you need to imagine a world that no longer exists, but never really left us. A world where survival depended on a system so fast it bypassed thought entirely, and where being wrong about danger was far safer than being right too late. That system still lives inside your skull, tucked deep beneath the thinking part of your brain. It's small, almond-shaped, and astonishingly old. Long before humans built language, art, or cities, this structure was already deciding, in a fraction of a second, whether something nearby wanted to eat us. It doesn't wait for evidence. It doesn't ask questions. It reacts first and explains itself later, if it explains itself at all. For early humans wandering exposed grasslands, this was not a flaw. It was the entire point. Picture a small group moving across an open plain. No walls, no weapons stronger than sharpened wood, no certainty about what waits behind the next bush. In that world, hesitation was expensive. A human who paused to rationally evaluate a shadow before reacting might never get a second chance. So evolution didn't build a careful judge inside our skulls. It built an alarm. A loud, oversensitive, impossible-to-ignore alarm that would rather scream 100 times for nothing than stay silent once when it mattered. And that's when something unexpected happened. This oversensitivity, which looks today like a glitch, was never a mistake. It was a calculated trade. Imagine two ancient humans. One treats every rustling bush as a potential threat, wasting energy, feeling fear constantly, but staying alive. The other only reacts to confirmed danger, calm, efficient, rational. The second one looks smarter. The second one also gets eaten first. The ones who passed on their genes were not the calm ones. They were the anxious ones, the jumpy ones, the ones who lived in a permanent state of mild alarm just in case. This is the part most people get wrong without realizing it. We tend to think anxiety is a malfunction, something broken in the modern brain. But what if the most anxious version of our ancestors was, statistically, the most successful one? What looks irrational today was once a quiet form of genius, a system so committed to keeping you alive that it would rather embarrass you with a racing heart over nothing than risk missing something real. But there was a problem. This alarm system was built for a world with very specific threats: animals, rival groups, starvation, extreme cold. It was never built for a world with deadlines, comparison, and constant connection. And the modern world changed fast, but our brain didn't keep up at the same pace. The hardware stayed the same, only the threats changed shape. Researchers studying the body's stress response found something revealing. When people are shown a physically threatening image, like an animal lunging toward them, their brain activates the same alarm circuits as when they experience something purely social, like public criticism or fear of rejection. The brain doesn't file these into separate categories of danger and discomfort. To the ancient alarm system, being excluded from the group was once a death sentence too, because survival always depended on belonging. So today, a rejected text message, a cold reply from a coworker, an argument with someone you love, can trigger the exact same biological cascade once reserved for a charging predator. This is where the past starts showing up inside modern life in ways we rarely notice. Your inbox becomes the rustling grass. Your phone becomes the unseen threat behind the bush. The most surprising part comes now. The discomfort you feel scrolling through bad news, waiting for a reply, or sitting in a meeting where you're being judged, is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that something ancient inside you is working exactly as designed, just aimed at the wrong target. But staying constantly armed comes with a cost. The ancestral alarm system was built for short bursts, a sprint away from danger, a quick decision, then calm again. It was never built to stay switched on for hours, days, or years. Yet that is exactly what many of us experience now. Bills, comparison, uncertainty about the future, social pressure, all of it keeps the same ancient circuits firing in the background, quietly, constantly, with no clear moment of resolution. There is no lion to outrun. There is no relief that comes from finally being safe, because the threat is no longer a single event. It's an atmosphere. This is where the side effects begin to surface. Sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented, because a body braced for danger doesn't fully relax even at night. Digestion slows, because energy gets redirected toward muscles that might need to run, muscles that never actually run anywhere. Immune function quietly weakens, because the body assumes there isn't time to repair itself when survival feels uncertain. None of this happens because you are weak. It happens because your biology is still preparing you for a world made of claws and open plains, not calendars and comparison. And maybe that's the real discovery hiding inside all of this. We often describe anxiety as something foreign, something that invades us from outside. But it isn't foreign at all. It's ancestral. It's the same intelligence that kept your bloodline alive for hundreds of thousands of years, still loyally standing guard, even though the world it was built to protect you from no longer exists in the same form. It never stopped working. It just never got the memo that the grass stopped hiding lions. So the next time your heart races over something small, a message left unanswered, a glance that felt too long, a silence that felt too heavy, try noticing it differently. That feeling is not malfunction. It's memory. A body-deep memory of a time when staying alert meant staying alive, still quietly running in the background of an ordinary afternoon, mistaking a notification for a predator, and trying, in its own ancient way, to keep you safe one more day.